Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? This is Speaking with Gravity, season number 9, episode 78. Great to have you guys back with us. I'm your host, Joshua Williams. To my right.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Hannah Williams.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kiewanna Hills.
And they told me to speak into the mic, so my name is Terance Dawkins.
And he's been obedient. That's what I'm talking about. Starting off so far. So we starting off good. As you all can see, some familiar faces, and we got, I don't want to say unfamiliar face, but we have a very special guest with us today, and we would be remiss if we did not allow her to introduce herself. Miss Kiewanna.
Welcome
Hello,
to me.
hello.
Welcome to you. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Once again, my name is Kiewanna Hills. My position, I am a social worker for AIDS Health Foundation, and I've been asked to come on this show to talk with you all. I'm a huge fan of Gravity, so I'm so excited to be here. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, we're so appreciative.
To join in on this conversation. And I guess I'm going to start it off.
Please do.
Because people want to know some things.
You know what the people want to know, so what's up?
So I have a question that I'm going to pose to everyone. That question is, can you be best friends with the opposite sex?
Emphasis on best friends
Besties.
is what I heard.
Sound like Hannah gonna take it, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Y'all besties.
I believe that you can have a very close friendship with a person of the opposite sex as long as there are mutual boundaries between you all. I do also believe that if one person has a romantic interest in the other person, that complicates that friendship aspect. So it creates some gray area around a true friendship. So that's my take on it. Me personally, I do have male friends that I'm very close with, but in my personal experience, I also recognize that I was raised around 3 brothers. Yeah. So I'm naturally, I would say, gravitate to male friendships as well as, female friendships. I value both, and that's my personal experience.
Okay, can I ask her a question on top of that?
Go ahead.
A question on top of a question.
Yes, ma'am. Can we define close?
Yeah,
Okay.
how close?
Well, y'all said besties, best friends. To each his own.
Y'all talk every day?
I don't talk to any of my friends every day.
I do believe that you can be best friends with a male and not have any underlying things as far as I want to have sex with you or I want to be with you. I have 2 male best friends that are literally my brothers, and I think like Sister said, we need those type of relationships. I need that advice from my brother who I know is talking to me and giving me good, genuine advice. And no, I don't see him in any other light than what I see in him. There's a respect that we have. I have a respect for him because I know he's married with kids, so I don't call, at crazy times of the night. Like, we have conversations. We don't speak daily, but when we link up, it's just like no love lost, no time lost. So you can.
So how do you all navigate those link-ups with respect to his marriage?
Typically, I see him at homecoming.
Okay.
So when I see him, I see his wife. I see his kids. I
Boundaries.
embrace his wife. Curve is one of my dearest friends. I went on their first date.
Oh, wow.
We didn't know him.
Some
Chaperone?
historical.
So we going
Chaperone?
together on this date. And we're the closest of friends. But I don't talk to him daily.
Right.
So you can have that relationship, but that, like I said, is a respect from on both parties. That I respect your relationship that you have with your wife, and you respect me with with my partner. So,
Josh, you had something, right? I got something.
No,
I'm gonna
please
let you
go.
Okay, so you came from a perspective of I have male best friends. So if you was in a relationship, could your partner have, if it was a relationship with a male, could your partner have a female best friend?
My take on it
You
is that
hesitated.
because I'm collecting my thoughts, and my take on that is that if they were already formally friends before I came into his life, I'm completely okay with that, and I would just appreciate the open communication. Let me know who she is in your life. Let me know how you all met, how long you all have known each other. Let me know the parameters around this, so that I can feel comfortable. If you say, "Hey, we're meeting up for lunch today," I feel comfortable. So there definitely has to be some parameters around that.
but I will also say that your job is to make sure that I'm comfortable. It's not
That's
to
it right there.
to go out
Yeah.
your way to do anything to make me second guess the relationship that you have with this person. So if you leave me in a space of I can trust you and this woman, I can trust this lady, then I'm okay with it.
Yes.
So question on top of that, I guess. So if someone isn't giving you that guidance, right, on that relationship that they have, then what's
A
I guess
conversation will
yeah.
be had.
Conversation.
Oh,
You
yeah.
you would initiate that
conversation will
Oh,
be
we
had.
gonna talk.
I would tell you how I feel because I cannot hold you accountable of my feelings if you don't know.
Conversation then changes.
Then changes. Because if you respect our relationship and you see that I have a problem, you gonna fix that.
So I hear the women's
I got
perspective
what
on
I'm gonna
this.
say. I'm ready. I'm just letting y'all get it out.
I hear the women's perspective on this, but I want to pick you all's brain.
Cool.
Yeah,
bet.
yeah.
All
What's
right,
you
so
all's
here we go.
very good.
I think it is
Terance
all
ready.
about the security of the people in the relationship. So if you have someone that is insecure, of course, they're going to always in their mind think, oh, maybe I can't trust this person, or they're doing something. No matter what, if we have that open communication, if I'm not secure within myself or our relationship, you can communicate all you want, but I'm still going to have that thought in my head that, hey, something's going on. And that could be from past experiences. That could be from childhood experiences, whatever it might be. But I think it's a lot plays into the security of the individual.
I can definitely agree with that. When you come into a relationship with insecurities already, it complicates things from the start, which is why it's so important to identify and process those insecurities that we already have from our childhood or from previous relationships, etc. Before we enter a new space. It's just like when you're going back to school. You don't want to go back to school with the same items you used from last, school year. The same dull pencil. You would expect somebody to, give you a new pencil so that you have a new, fresh mentality. And I feel like we can use that same mentality in relationships. Leave that baggage and those insecurities in the past. And if you can't, then you shouldn't be entering a new space yet.
That's easier said than done. I'm
It
telling you
is.
that now.
But true indeed, but at the end of the day, I'm not responsible for your triggers.
You not.
So you then yourself have to start working on that. If that's something that you know that you need to work on, that's personal, it has nothing to do with me, then I would expect for you to work, to work on that for the betterment of us, because that has nothing to do with me. But now your triggers are, impacting our relationship.
And if that process happens over the course of a relationship, I feel like it's so important to communicate.
Yes.
Hey, this is an insecurity of mine. How we can fix this insecurity is, for example, I'll let my partner go on a lunch, outing with a female friend. But if I have some insecurities, let's communicate about that before the date, and let's communicate about it after.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the date, the outing, but let's communicate about it after so that we can grow as a couple and we can improve those insecurities.
Beautiful.
I agree, and the communication is very, very important because sometimes people will have feelings about certain situations. They don't communicate it. So what they do is they act out from behaviors.
Sure.
So it's fine. You can go out with your best friend. All right, they go out with their best friend. Now they come back. You got an attitude.
You got a whole attitude.
Oh, what's wrong? Nothing.
But again, that goes back to me saying you can't hold me accountable with something that I don't know.
Exactly. People do it all the time, though. But you're right.
But like you said, having that conversation saying, I'm telling you this because I love you and I love us. This is something that bothers me, and I need, for you to help me along with this. And if, a person that loves you and they see that, you come to them and you tell them what the issue is, they're going to help you with that. If they, if it's a love that's being had, they're going to help you with that. They're not going to do anything to, continue to re-trigger you.
Ooh, I felt something.
Now,
Go ahead.
Y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead, please. It sounded great. Please.
I will be completely honest. One thing I have experienced in what I thought to be male friendships and strictly male friendships is that I may have been naive to the fact that they played their part as a male friend while the entire time they had hidden motives of growing that friendship into a romantic thing.
And I think that's why Terance is saying, that's where some of that comes from. He knows males.
Right. It doesn't always happen, but I have experienced that, and it does create that gray area. It does create a gray area. So I just want to acknowledge that.
I think, and to go off that, if you have let's say whether it's a female or male, they cross a boundary. Then I think it's very important to communicate with your partner that this boundary was crossed. This is how I addressed it, and this is how we're going to move forward. Or y'all have a discussion on how to move forward.
Sure.
Are you talking about if they crossed the boundary before we met?
If the
before?
friend, either way, before, after, if they went on, let's say, well, I'm mainly referring to if they went on an outing, because I'm not going to use date. They went on an outing, and the friend crossed the boundary.
What's an example of crossing a boundary?
Oh, it can go. It could be a lot of things.
You know,
Just give me one.
Put your hand, rub on the back.
Yeah, rub on the back. Something. That's a bad.
Okay.
Boy, we're gonna talk about that.
A physical boundary.
Yeah, a physical
Right.
boundary, or even an emotional.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that's a physical boundary.
I don't wanna
Emotional
make you
boundary.
lose your thoughts, though.
No, it plays into my
Okay,
thought.
okay, beautiful.
Emotional boundary. So if we having problems, I would hope that you do not go to this opposite sex best friend
You better not.
to talk about your problems
Yeah.
with
Come on,
me,
man.
because if they have hidden motives, now they getting the cheat code on how to
Yeah,
be
how
there
to-
for you.
They can
Man,
exploit
come
that.
on,
Blueprint.
man.
A blueprint, right?
Yeah, the blueprint of he or she is vulnerable in this area. If I give them this, that makes me more attractive than the other
Right.
person.
More
And so
preferable.
now this is my end.
Yeah.
So you got to think about that. Even physical and emotional as well. Boundaries that are being crossed by you and the other person. I think that should be communicated. And then you give. Somebody told me this, and I'm going to always remember it. You give the other person the choice on what they want to do from there.
Right.
You can't withhold information just
Right.
because you're afraid they'll leave. They're going to get upset. They're going to get mad.
What the response is gonna be, yeah.
Exactly. But you have to communicate it so they have the actual choice of how to proceed.
What I've seen from this, and it sounds like this can be complicated.
Oh, very.
It
Very.
sounds, and from my experience, it is complicated. And I think as women, we're okay with that complexity because we value, like Kia was saying, we value what we gain from our male counterparts. However, what I've seen from males is that these complicated situations, they just want to make it simple. So they're going to say, nah, you can't be friends with the opposite sex, versus diving in and saying, how do we be friends with the opposite sex? So that's what I've noticed.
Yeah.
That's kind of where you need someone who's like kind of, I would say, emotionally intelligent. Somebody who thinks about things, consider things, and is willing to consider your feelings. Or maybe they need to be that conversation that opens up another conversation. I would think about just how open they're willing to be emotionally with you, because you don't want that coming up in other conversations as well. I would
Right.
say
Yeah.
that block, that shutdown. Well, no, just not at all. You want to be able to talk through things. If you can't, then that's going to show up in other areas 9 times out of 10 too.
Yeah. I was watching a TikTok. Yeah, I love TikTok.
Me too.
So I was watching a TikTok, and it said males will go to other males to talk about maybe the needs, wants of females, right? But we don't. Majority of the time, we don't go to other females to try to understand the women.
Female
A
perspective.
female
Yeah, female
perspective.
yeah.
So we talking to our homeboys, trying to think our homeboys is going to tell us the truth. Nah, they probably most of the time not. They're going to be biased as from their perspective.
Yeah.
But if you get a woman's perspective, she can tell you if you're tripping or not, and how to
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
maybe how the woman's feeling, and maybe you try this. So I think that's very important too, to maybe have a female friend. Like if I'm a male, for me, have a female friend that I can not confide in with problems, but to try to help understand my partner a little bit better, so we can help grow in our relationship.
And what I'm hearing is that it comes down to different perspectives. You know, if you're so limited in just gaining, for example, if I'm so limited in only gaining the perspective of my female friends about my male partner, that's very limited. It's not until I broaden and open up my perspective and say, okay, let me get a male's opinion about this situation while still respecting my partner as a man, and not throwing him under the bus. So to me, it's about scoping out those different perspectives and weighing, the knowledge that I receive from them.
But boundaries and communication are important when dealing with opposite sex. If you're in a relationship or whatever type of situationship, if you want to call it. But boundaries and communication is very, very important. So
I agree.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, myself, I probably so I'm engaged right now. Myself, I probably wouldn't even go if it's somebody who I met. If it's not business, I probably wouldn't even do. My fiance got to come.
Because you wouldn't even put yourself in a position.
Wouldn't want to put myself in a position.
That's growth too.
It
That's
is.
respect for your
Yeah,
relationship. And it's at the end of the day, what am I gaining from that? Because you put yourself. Sometimes we put ourselves. Not consciously. We put ourselves in situations where we don't think anything about it, but you don't know that person. You don't know what their intentions are. The only person that you have total control over is yourself. So why put yourself in a situation where it's going to be questioned? And you don't even want that type of unnecessary drama.
Yeah.
So are you all saying that in order to continue to grow a friendship that it has to happen with a previous best friend? If I'm in a relationship and I have a previous male best friend, it is okay to continue that friendship over the course of my new relationship. Or if I'm in a relationship, is it okay to formulate and start and establish a new friendship with the male? Ooh.
Please go ahead.
Regardless if it's new or old, I want to be involved.
I was gonna say I'm gonna bring my fiance along. If it's an old friend, then I probably already said something about her, and now my fiance definitely need to meet her, and we'll talk from there. Next time I get ready to go out with her, I say, hey man, I'm going out here, and it may be the first few times actually that she comes along. Those times that I go out with my friend. Yeah, to really get comfortable and see what the nature of those conversations are like.
So what about a new best friend though?
A new best friend. I don't really see myself really making a new best friend in a woman. I don't, because my best friend now is
the word
is my
friend.
fiance.
We use it so loosely.
Right.
You can't be friends with somebody you just met 2 days ago.
Associate.
Friendship takes time to build.
That's very
true.
true.
We don't have no new friends.
It's emotional.
When we 40 plus years old. There's no new friends. There's acquaintances.
Right.
Correct.
But no best friends. My best friend, we've been riding for I don't even know how long, 20 plus years. Like. I only have two solid best friends. I have my sisters, but I have two solid best friends that I call my best friend. Like this is who that is. But as far as new people coming along and this is my friend you just met 2 days ago, no, we use that word too loosely.
Yeah, I do agree.
We do. So myself,
So you come as a package deal. We both come.
Yeah, we package. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna agree.
I'm gonna help you out.
Oh, okay.
So a lot really goes into that talk. I think, and I think one of y'all brought up a really good point earlier. People aren't always gonna come out and tell you, "Hey, I'm uncomfortable with that."
Sure.
Sometimes can be kind of passive aggressive, and even if y'all have the talk, I think Hannah, you mentioned, and you come back and they feel in some type of way, that's gonna have to be like a continuous talk kind of.
Sure.
And we have to be able to give, this is a mental health podcast, so we have to be able to realize that everybody's not where they maybe would like to be.
Yes.
So we got to take care and grace, I think, with people.
Or even where you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Even where you are. And so having care and having grace for that other person is going to be really important if you're trying to continue a relationship with them. At some point, they got to make a change, right? But this thinking about, can I give this person some grace? I think is really important.
Oh yeah.
If you want to make it lasting.
But just to also say too, when we're talking about other people, women know women. Like just like men know men. Like if me and my guy, we're out and a woman is just making these innuendos, we know, she trying to get with you. And I'm gonna tell you that, and you be like, nah, babe, that's not what it.
Right.
We know women, so take that for what it's worth. Don't minimize the fact that we know we know each other very well, and we can kind of see those intentions coming on. So don't be kind of like brushing that off when I just told you what it was, and then you be surprised that this is what happened at the end, and I'm looking at you because I told you.
Right. Now, what can happen is that these friendships become such a large part of your relationship that it becomes a distraction. That you all are no longer focusing on you and your partner, but it's so many distractions from the outside that now y'all are dealing with external issues versus focusing on internal, issues and internal growth, or even individual issues and internal growth. So that can present a challenge too, which is why I understand why a lot of men have the mentality of, nah, you can't have male friends, because it creates complexity.
I then go back to the security part of it, because I ain't gonna lie. At one point in time, I was like that, like nah, ain't none of these male
Cut
friends.
it off.
Like, cut that short. But why? But because in my mind, it wasn't necessarily her. It was, oh, I know what he's trying to do. Maybe he wasn't, but I've convinced myself that that's exactly what he's trying to do. So it was something, and I can look at it now and say it was really me that was the problem, not anything that they have done. But let there have been a boundary crossed. Then now I'm like, see, I told you, right? So it validated everything I was saying. Now it increased my hyper awareness about different things, and now it's really like, look, you could cut him off, but like you said, it starts to cause problems. The external stuff starts to cause problems internally. Now we're arguing about this instead of trying to get closer together, instead of me really effectively communicating what the true problem is.
Right.
And I think that's very important. That's why I said communication and boundaries. Communicate not just what's going on with the friend, but what's going on with you internally, and how that internal is showing up externally for other people.
And not just that communication, but effective communication.
Effective communication.
You know,
Right,
talk to
right.
me. Let us talk it out, but don't talk. You know, talk to me. Like we have this conversation, we have this dialogue, and we have an understanding, and we both walk away, and we both are okay with what was just presented.
We got to practice that effective communication too.
Yes.
That's got to be put into practice, because it's so easy to raise my voice a little
Right.
bit.
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
It's so easy for me to mistake something that she says.
Because you're not listening. You're listening to respond. You're not necessarily listening to hear what I have to say. You're
understand.
already ready. You already know what I'm going to say. You're already playing so you're ready to attack instead of just listening to what what the conversation is really about. And like you said, go ahead and already formulating something within your mind.
Oh yeah, I can create a story.
Yeah. A friend of mine told me earlier today, it was a quote, she can't remember who it came from, but it said, if you can change a problem by changing the way you think, then you created the problem yourself.
And I done made a whole bunch
Say
of
it one more
problems.
time.
If you can change a problem by changing the way you think, then you created the problem yourself.
It was all internal.
It's all internal.
That's me. Yep.
Yeah.
I think also kind of like what I described is when I've created these stories, I've gotten better at it. But when I've created these stories and narratives in my mind, and then I end up reacting to that narrative, I end up self-sabotaging. Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're here to talk about
Yeah,
today.
because that comes from fear. The
Yep.
fear of rejection, the fear of, walking away. So
Rejection, abandonment,
yes,
hurt,
yes,
pain, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's
All the above, yeah.
It's a defense, really.
Right.
Yes,
it's a defense mechanism. So I've learned that over the years, and I can effectively communicate that now.
Yeah.
That's great.
But I also run into this problem though. And y'all can help me out with this. So I'm gonna turn a little bit. I'm gonna make sure bring my mic up. Okay. But to prevent self-sabotage, we say, "Oh, you need to effectively communicate," right? Is there a thing as too much effective communication? And I'll tell you why.
Tell us why.
Because when you effectively communicate, so if something's bothering me internally, I feel like I need to bring it to you so we can have a conversation. But then there have been some experiences where it's like, oh, now it's always a problem you're trying to start, or you're trying to start an argument, address. You always got something you want to address. Like, nah, I'm really trying to tell you what's going on with me internally so we can work through this. And yes, it might be a lot, but I found that sometimes it can be overwhelming. And then it'd be like, oh, well, you communicate too much. I say, what? What? Communicate too much? So is there such thing as too much effective communication?
I've been in that situation, and in my perspective, I don't believe that there's a such thing as too much effective communication, but there has to be some type of pacing that is going on. You can't just dump a lot and everything on your partner, in the same day. Like, oh, I've been thinking about all of these issues in my head. Let's address everyone now, back to back. And especially as women, like, we need space to just breathe and process things, and men too. So if you dump so much stuff on your partner, you're expecting all of these resolutions. There's no room for change.
Are you expecting resolutions right away though? Or,
no,
or sometimes you just want to talk it out.
I just want to let you know that this is what I got going on. Because in my mind, if I let you know, then I'm hoping that you can, really just sometimes maybe even just comfort me, right? Not necessarily I need you to do anything, but just be there, right?
Do you communicate that part though?
Acknowledge.
Do you communicate that part? That it's not
Yeah.
always.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
always want a
Yeah.
solution right
Exactly.
away. But,
But
you
this
do
just
communicate
what-
that part too.
But this just what's going on. But it's just overwhelming. You communicate too much. I'm like, oh, okay. But then when that happens, guess what happens after that? So now, all right, you shut down, or you kind of pull back a little bit,
because
right?
you're afraid of what you're going to do, because that might be a problem for you as well.
Exactly. So now pull back, and then if I pull back, guess what's going to happen? I start creating stories again,
Right.
Yeah.
and then I
Right.
start
Self-sabotaging.
self-sabotaging. So it's a lose-lose, people.
Because I
That
feel like
person
if
closed that door on you.
Yeah, and then, but like you were saying though, the pace, like you're telling me, because if you're coming at me constantly telling me all of my imperfections, I'm gonna sit here and wonder why you with me, because you have not said not one thing positive reinforcement.
But I thought he was saying imperfections about himself.
Yeah. Towards the person.
So
right?
I'll give you.
But about
I'll
himself,
come up with a
though.
random
Yeah.
example.
Okay.
So let's say, all right, like we were talking about the friendship thing, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Let's just say I was like, hey, this, internally it does bother me because X, Y, Z.
Okay.
Right. And let's say they text late at night or something. In my mind, I'm like, I ain't gonna say what I really would say. But who is this person?
Right.
Texting late at night. Now I've created a story like, what's this conversation going and all that stuff.
Sure.
And I would try to communicate, hey, this late at night texting is, it does bother me internally.
Yes.
It makes me think X, Y, Z and,
Okay.
and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying, I've never said stop texting this person at
Sure.
night.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But my hope is, if you know that something is bothering me internally, if you care enough, you will make some changes, or we can discuss
Sure.
changes, right?
Yeah.
But then it's more of, like you said, they probably maybe think that I need to have a solution. So that's like one thing. It's not like, oh, I've suppressed everything and now I'm dumping. Like, no, if something comes up, I'll bring it up, but not like.
And as
dumping.
you should, because you want to bring something up in that moment. So, you won't have to rethink what took place. You both know what just happened, and you're talking about it in that moment. So
Yes.
you don't have to revisit it at another time and try to
Exactly.
recreate other feelings that you think are emotions that you were feeling at that time, which is fine. And in that space, the person can just validate what you say, because it's valid. If a person is, texting at an inappropriate time, that is a valid concern.
Yep.
And again, we could talk about it tomorrow, but I understand what you're saying, and it will be corrected because I love you just that much, and I'm gonna take care of it.
I bet. Cool. That's fine.
It's simple now.
It's
right?
simple now, right? It's simple now.
But when those emotions
when the
come
emotions come, it ain't even none. We just friend. All right, never mind.
That sounds like a defense
it's defense.
mechanism.
Yeah,
It's a
and then
defense.
you're minimizing my feelings.
Exactly. So you know what? Never mind. Don't worry about it.
So
Yeah.
what I'm hearing is that, a person can self-sabotage in relationships. And I just want to add the QD of the hour, which is just another version of Speaking with Gravity or fun facts that you can share with your friends, colleagues, or even family members. Did you know that self-sabotage often stems from a fear of success rather than a fear of failure? Many people unconsciously sabotage their own efforts because they are afraid of changes that success may bring or the responsibilities that come with achieving their goals.
You are absolutely right. But it ain't all about me. I'm gonna let somebody else talk. Y'all go ahead. I was just gonna sit over here in my little corner.
We want to hear what you got to
What
say.
you
Good. All right. So, I was conversing with someone,
Okay.
and they let me know, oh, I self-sabotage a lot. Okay, I heard that, validated, acknowledged it. But
They use that term and everything.
yeah, they said that.
wow.
They said it. So,
Very self-aware.
Very
yeah, very
emotionally
self-aware.
intelligent person.
But it was definitely, like you said, a fear of things going right. So because they've never experienced things going right. So when I start to experience feeling loved, cared for, all this comfort and all that stuff is very foreign to me. So it means something's going to be wrong or something's going to mess up. So I need to go ahead and end this, or I need to go ahead and create some type of problem or whatever it is, which ultimately is a self-sabotaging behavior because now I'm scared.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're
Yeah.
absolutely right with that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Basically, I'm gonna get you before you get
I'm
me.
gonna get you before you get me.
Because this is an unknown feeling, unknown territory. I don't know how to navigate through these words. I'm so used to chaos, and I'm so used to being unloved. I don't know how to function, in love. I don't know what that looks like. And self-sabotaging, basically, it just means that you're going against your own best interest.
Yep.
Right.
That's truly what that is. You're going against your, because of, maybe childhood traumas that you've experienced and things that you've never dealt with, the fear, abandonment. It's a multitude of things as to why we do that to ourselves. And I had one person, we were having a conversation, and she said that this seems too good to be true.
That comfort zone.
And I'm like, but why can't it be?
Why can't it be?
Why can't we have the too good to be true?
I'm saying.
Why are we minimizing ourselves?
Because soon as something go wrong, she gonna say, "I knew it. Was
I knew
too
it.
Good to be
It
true."
validates that feelings.
Because of that
It
fear
validates.
that you're gonna have. Because
But
you
you're
think
gonna
that
always
rejection,
have trouble. In the
you're gonna
relationship.
always have it.
Challenging.
You always gonna have it,
That's something right
and you're
there.
gonna meet it head on.
And I believe that this topic really hits home, but I also believe that a lot of people self-sabotage because they're so accustomed and comfortable in existing within that comfort zone,
Yes.
that they're afraid to take those risks that can be the difference between, achieving some of their goals versus achieving all of their goals, especially those long-term goals. Because I know one behavior related to self-sabotaging is procrastination.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And also worrying about what the other people think about you. That thought of
Self-image.
And if we spend so much time thinking about, what if I do this, I'm gonna look crazy, I'm gonna look foolish, I'm gonna fall on my face, and not understanding that that's a part of the process,
Right.
But you then you get back up, you dust it off, and you get back up again.
Yep.
You don't have to stay where you are. You don't have to stay stuck in that. But sometimes we are so used to that, and we're okay with that because we're able to function and we're good.
Shutting down. That's another one.
Wow.
That's powerful.
So let me not give you anything which will push you away.
Yes.
So it's nothing that you've done.
Yes.
But it's the behavior I did that pushed you away. But I did the behavior because you were getting too close.
Right.
So and I think another one could be anger. So I don't know how to receive this.
Yes.
So I respond and react with anger.
Yes.
And starting pointless arguments and things like
Right.
that. So that's still some other behaviors that might show up as self-sabotaging.
I had a relationship with a young man, and it was so good. It was the sweetest. He was the sweetest person ever. But he said he thought I was going to be his downfall because of all the mistakes he's made previously with women, and I was going to be the one that messed it up for him because
He wouldn't allow himself to be blessed,
He wouldn't allow, and I left him right there. Because
As you should have.
if that's what you believe,
You messed
and
up,
you're going to
dude.
continually do that, then there's nothing I can do with that. But at least we had that honest conversation, and he told me why he was doing X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Because he felt like I was going to be the one that break him from all the things that he did in his past to women. And we parted ways, with that. But, with the respect of, he let me know what it is. And I can respect that. I can definitely respect you telling me how you feel, so you give me the option of what I do with this relationship,
Give them the choice.
Give the option, yeah.
and what I do with this information, instead of trying to lead me on and making me think that this is what it is, and it's truly not, because of your mindset and where you are and how you're going to sabotage this relationship. So,
And where does this sense of self-sabotaging come from? Where does it originate from? In my perspective, it comes from maybe childhood wounds
Oh Lord.
very much
of
so.
being abandoned, and now it has correlated, or it has progressed to your adulthood, to your relationships, maybe to the workplace. You have these grand work goals that you have in mind, but you keep procrastinating because you're so afraid of success.
Yes. Because you've been told so much of what you can't do, the limitations that you have, that you actually start to believe that that's who you truly are. Because if the person that, it's not necessarily my story, but if a person that you grew up with and they tell you this, you're nothing, you're not going to be anything, you're not going to succeed, you start believing that because this person that knows me, evidently they know more than me, so this is my outcome, instead of me necessarily believing the gifts that I have, that I know that I can elevate, I know I can can become successful. But the person who who knows me the best is telling me this, I'm definitely gonna believe that person versus a stranger that per se sees something in you. So I think truly from childhood, because you don't come out the womb doing that. It has to be cultivated. Your environment creates you into the person that you are. And then sometimes we minimize and we compartmentalize our feelings, but they show up.
Yeah,
They're gonna
eventually.
seep out. They're gonna eventually come out, and you don't even know what that is or why you're even acting that way.
And I'm so appreciative we have these labels such as self-sabotaging
Yes.
now, so that we know exactly
what it
what
is.
the
You can
issue
call
is
it what it
going
is.
on
Yes.
and at hand.
It has a name.
And you know that sense of self-sabotaging, it comes from a sense of just wanting to be safe.
That's it.
You know, if you've never
That's it.
experienced as a child a safe place to be vulnerable, how do you expect to do it as an adult?
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing us say is that maybe one treatment to self-sabotaging is healing your inner childhood wounds.
Yeah.
So can self-sabotage also be intentional?
It can be.
So because a lot of what I'm hearing is it might be well, I guess that's kind of intentional. So I guess can it be unintentional? Basically, what I'm hearing is that a lot of self-sabotage is because of you know, like we were saying, old wounds and things like that. But then I think about also actions that you take for pleasure, right? So maybe not just to be safe, but for pleasure. Could that be self-sabotage too? Like if I'm in school, I'm skipping class or something like that, right? Because I want to be out to be with my friends. Or if I'm staying out late, I know the consequences, but I'm saying, I can probably get up early, you know? But I'm staying out late, and then I'm late for my job, so can that be considered self-sabotage? Or would y'all consider that
Because
self-sabotage?
again, it's going against your better interest. You know, you're doing that to self. So eventually, it's going to impact you in some way, shape, or form. You know, you ended up, getting up late, being late to you're going to lose your job.
Right.
And that is not any interest for you because you're not going to have an income. So, yeah, it can look that way, but then you wonder why. Why is that so? You know, I used to, I was a case manager for food stamp and Medicaid eligibility, and I would have women who have become so dependent on government assistance that, and so, I don't even know the word I'm looking for, but anyway, they are so enthralled into the government assistance that I had a lady who was working, making income, because all that is a supplement, you know,
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a supplement. She quit her job just so she can stay on food stamps. You know, you don't want to do
Self-sabotaging.
you don't want to do anything better because I'm so conditioned
And comfortable.
with this assistant. I don't care who's in my business. I don't care that I have to march to your beat and bring in documentation or make sure I show. I don't care about anything as long as I'm getting this supplement each month. I'm not trying to better myself. Yes, I'm going to, and it's generational. It was her mother, her grandmother, and now her.
Just got this
I know Terance about that.
Yep.
Cycle breaker.
That's me.
So I have very similar experience. So when I started off right out of college, I was in workforce development. I'm still in workforce, but I was career development coach. And used to have people would come in, very same instance, and they begin food stamps. Our goal was, let's get you a better job. You know,
So
the job you got is cool, but let's get you a better job. We'll pay for your training, all this
Yes.
stuff we'll do for you
Yes.
because you own food stamps, so you qualify. You consider low income. But folks, did not want to give up.
Didn't want to.
Did not want to
They
give
were
up
so
those
comfortable
food
with
stamps.
that. And if they benefits decreased, it was a problem. And it's like, I done been threatened. I'm like, I don't have your stamps in my drawer, baby. I really don't. I don't have them. But I don't understand how you not want to break free from me being all in your business and making sure that you show up on time. In order for you to get this, you have to do this. But you have individuals who are okay with that feeling. And the thing is, sometimes we don't even know that we're doing it. We don't even know that that's what we're doing. But when you are aware of what you're doing and you're okay with it.
Is it self-sabotage then? If my goal is to stay on.
My thing is, it's not even, it's self-sabotage, but you're okay with it. You know, we can have a conversation about it, but if you're aware of it, what is there to do? Because we both acknowledge it. You know it, and you're not trying to change. So until you're ready to change.
I can see, because I can see how to be a problem for me, but then I think about it. If it's not a problem for them, then and they're happy with it, that's their goal. I just want to stay on food. Then are they
I just call it
sabotaging?
self-awareness now. Like you're self-aware of what you're doing, and I'll see you next month when it's time to renew.
Yeah.
So I heard you say one tip to overcome self-sabotaging is to change. Is to get outside of your comfort zone. I believe another tip is to value excellence and the mentality of achieving excellence versus the mentality of always being perfect and having to be such this perfectionist that you create in your mind that, okay, if everything can't be perfect, then I'm not even going to start the mission. I'm not even going to start working towards my goals versus having that achieving excellence mentality of saying, I'm going to do a little bit by a little bit to start working towards and not procrastinating towards these goals so that I can at least step outside of that comfort zone.
Because you're putting yourself on your own pedestal that you can't even meet your own marks. So you feel you want to give grace to everybody else but self. So definitely, start with that. Start with the acknowledgement of this is what it is. And then when in social work, when we tell our clients we see a problem, the thing is I want to lose weight. What are the steps? That's the goal.
That's the goal.
I want to lose weight. What are the steps that you're doing to achieve that goal? 1, 2, 3. Let's and you tell me what that looks like.
Measurable goals.
Measurable goals. I'm not going to tell you what that looks like. I want you to tell me what that looks like, because if you tell me, you're more able to complete that versus me telling you.
Right.
Because now you're part of the plan. So I think that having that mentality of wanting to do better, but you got to know better to do better. But when you know, do you want to do? Do you want to do the work? Sometimes people don't want to do the work.
Right.
You can go to counseling. You can receive all the tips from your counselors, and they tell you and they give you homework. You go home with homework, and you're supposed to do X, Y, and Z. But what is the purpose if you go on and you showing up every single day, but you're not doing the work
Doing the homework.
for self? How much do you love yourself?
Self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
And I feel like another tip to overcoming self-sabotaging yourself is to give yourself rewards. When you see that we're meeting, certain goals that can help bridge that gap of you procrastinating and not meeting your long-term goals, reward yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like collectively as a culture, we have difficulty giving ourselves grace, and rewarding ourselves.
Because we don't get it anywhere else. So we don't even really know how that looks. And that's why we have to kind of lean heavily on each other to be that. And if you don't have that cheering squad in your corner, you got to pat yourself on the back and say,
reward yourself. It reminds me of a song by an artist, a hip hop artist named Gunna. He has a song called "Today I Did Good," where he's acknowledging that, hey, today I ate healthy. Hey, today I went to therapy. Hey, today I used healthy communication. I did good. Like, acknowledge it. Reward yourself for it.
I thought you was going to say Donna Lawrence, encourage yourself.
That's another good one. You got to push yourself outside that comfort zone.
That is a
you
good
got
song.
You got to put on Gunna. Wanna. I remember that from back in the day.
That's really good though. When you acknowledge and you see that the goal that you have and you are writing those things out and I love checking stuff off because I like to write stuff down. I like to check stuff off. That makes that right there is accomplishment for me in itself. When I everybody gets on me because I write every single. Why don't you just type it? You got your way and I got my way.
Right.
And I love checking it off. I love seeing that I have completed this task and now I can move on to the next task.
And you highlighted a very important point. Only you know how you can step outside of that comfort zone and reach your goals.
Yes.
Like you said earlier, your counselor is there to guide you, but they can't do the work for you. Only you know, okay, I'm a visual learner. I need to write this down.
Yes.
And somebody else may be an auditory learner. So they might say, okay, I need to record myself saying these goals and I need to listen to it in the car every morning.
Exactly.
You know yourself to overcome that self-sabotaging.
Yes, very much so.
Josh, you had something?
I was gonna say, Terance, you got anything?
Not right now. I said my piece earlier. I'm just over here listening now because
I was gonna say I like how y'all tied goals to it because even when we were talking about the young lady that was coming in looking for food stamps, it really was coming in with food stamps. I don't know technically if she got a goal to really to get a better job, right? I think that self-sabotage when you tie it to goals. some of the reasons that they do self-sabotage, 2 reasons that come to mind for me: a mistrust or a misalignment, right?
Sure.
A mistrust of myself, like I can't do it, and we've been talking about that, or a misalignment. I got goals here, but the steps to get there, like y'all have been saying,
right.
I'm not willing to do that.
I'm not willing to do that.
Not
It
willing
looked
to
good
do
on
that.
paper. Yeah.
But the
I didn't
work.
realize that it's going to take so much.
Didn't realize,
to do.
yeah.
And then we also get in our head about the what ifs.
What if? Yeah.
The what if thoughts, like, well, what if I do this?
Scared of the
what
future.
if this is gonna happen? Then you're already planning your disaster before it even happened. But how do you even know that you're gonna fail?
Yeah.
Unless you try. Bet on yourself. Always bet on you.
Bet on you.
What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst that can happen?
You fail, and then you pick yourself back up, or you have your community to help pick you back up.
Get out your own head.
So
Easier said than done, people.
Yeah, but when saying no, because people say that it's easier said than done. But what are you willing to do to make it happen? Are you willing to put the work in, even if it's easier said than done? What are you willing to do for yourself?
I'll say this: when you get tired, you gonna make some changes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But you gotta get tired,
But you
though.
gotta get tired.
You
first.
gotta get tired, right?
You gotta get tired first, and my hope is that people eventually do get tired. And that sounds kind of weird. It's like, why do you want people to get tired? Because when they get tired, they're gonna make some changes.
Right.
Yeah, right. So you must have get to that point first to end up wanting to make those changes, or else you're gonna stay in the same spot because you're comfortable with that.
I can attest to
And-
that because
and you better
that
get
was,
tired.
Yeah, you gotta
You
get
better
tired
get tired
because I
right
was
now.
tired of my
Nah.
situation,
Yeah.
which is how I ended up moving to Atlanta. I quit my DFAX job because
Okay.
it was too much. It was becoming toxic. I was having anxiety. Like my anxiety was just to the roof, and my doctor told me either I put you on anxiety medication or you quit your job. I quit my job, put my 2 weeks
I know
notice.
that's right.
And I moved. I moved to Atlanta, but I had no job. My cousin said, "What's the worst that can happen? You don't want to stay there. Come here and see what you." So I betted on myself, and I packed
that
up my
risk.
I packed up that Sonata, and we were headed on 85 to Atlanta. It took me some time to get a job, but I eventually did. But I never gave up because that's what I wanted to do because I betted on myself.
Good
That
job
sounds like
to
a
you.
successful story.
Seriously,
Yeah.
good job to you. I
Good
know
job.
the old people used to say, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and
Sick and-
tired."
right.
Well, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do about it?
What are you going to do?
Exactly.
And then when you do, you pat yourself on the job, and it's like, I knew you could do it all along.
That was a great success story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And look where you at now, right here with the host of Speaking with Gravity.
You know
we, ain't nobody though. I mean, I ain't nobody. but the show is definitely something. The
Yes.
platform, I think, of Speaking with Gravity is definitely something.
Oh,
and,
man.
and we
Definitely.
appreciate having you.
I appreciate
you.
being here with you all. Thank y'all so much for having
Tell the
me.
audience your name one more time, Miss Kiewanna.
My name is Kiewanna Hills, representing for AIDS Health Foundation,
Love it.
and ATL in the house.
Yay! Newly ATL.
Well, I don't know. It'll be 10 years in January.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it'll be 10 years
That's
in January.
amazing.
How can we find you? How can we find you on the internet or
I'm on
wherever?
LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I love TikTok. My fellow
Okay.
TikTokian
LinkedIn,
over here.
TikTok, Instagram.
yeah.
Instagram. What's your Instagram, Twitter?
My Instagram is ZetaLady10. Now you will have to be approved because my page is private,
Okay.
and I realize that you have people that.
Thanks
can
for those boundaries.
Yes, to look for you. So and
Same thing
Kiewanna
on
Hills
TikTok?
on LinkedIn, TikTok too. Mhm.
Okay.
I definitely enjoyed this episode.
Thank
I
you.
did
Me
too.
too.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And thank you
Yeah.
for joining us as a host today.
I appreciate being
Good.
here, and I hope to come again.
Yeah.
We hope so too.
So y'all out there, work on yourselves. Continue to work on yourselves. Continue to work on your mental health. Myself, I think I was self-sabotaging when I had the wrong mindset.
Yes.
I didn't have the right mindset.
Yes.
So continue to be mindful, right? And just continue to make healthy choices,
Right.
healthy decisions. So thanks everyone for tuning in once again to today's episode of Speaking with Gravity. We hope that you found our discussion on avoiding self-sabotage, as well as, man, we had a pretty long discussion
We did.
on Terrance's topic too.
Yeah. Can they be
Yeah.
be best friends without?
Right.
So we hope that you all found everything insightful and inspiring and engaging. Remember that you have the power to break free from self-destructive patterns and create the life that you deserve. Stay tuned for more episodes that are packed with tips and strategies to help you thrive. Until
And
next time.
if you all enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends, colleagues, relatives. Just share it.
Please do. Yeah. All right. We out.
Yeah.
Bye.